I am privileged today to be with a beautiful lady, Robbie Mathews, who, with her partner, Michael Mathews, have built a substantial property portfolio. Robbie, could you just give us a little bit of background of how you got into property and why?
Yes, couple things. We originally thought about building a business based on property flipping and purchasing, but as we moved forward, we decided we wanted more of a passive portfolio, one that would actually work for us as opposed to us working for it. So we were fortunate enough to get in connection with a group of individuals to form a private equity group. And through that relationship, we purchased and we are building 200 small event centers across the U.S. We currently have 10 of those up and running today, and we're very fortunate to have acquired a significant piece of property in McMinnville, Oregon, which we are going to have become the first fall center resort. And there we'll have a hotel, we have a space museum, water park, and we have a air museum, a wedding chapel, and a Boy Scout camp.
Wow.
Yeah, so we purchased that property, and we're looking very forward to expanding on that property. But in the meantime, we do have 9 other properties that are currently up and running and very profitable.
Now, there's so many different directions I can take this interview. But really, I just want to focus on your so-called humble beginnings,
okay,
and the portfolio that you personally have, and then really I'd love to go on to the how you set up the private equity group. But just if I can start in your early days.
Oh, okay.
So just the challenges there.
Okay. Well, started out with I guess like the average person. Came from a single mom, but I did have a very good support system, aunts and uncles and friends around, and so I did become a single mom myself, a teenage mom, and I worked to raise my children and take care of them. So eventually I was able to purchase a home, an actual house, and so we moved in there, and from there I began working with at Northern Trust, and from there my career grew. I was my background is in technology, so I have actually 40 years of technology management and development experience. So I worked for Northern Trust for 33 years and retired in 2014. And so once I retired, it's like, well, what am I going to do? I'm not the just sit around and do nothing type person. And Michael, being an author, he was working on the revision for our new Financially Speaking book. And we decided to make that more of a active business where we would promote financial literacy education. So we designed the book so that we'll be able to go around speaking and talking to others and helping to promote that, because it's missing in our school system. I didn't learn it in school, my children didn't learn it in school, and we see that a lot of other friends, relatives, family members, their children don't have that personal financial education either. So we feel that's a big gap in our country as well as around the world.
Right.
And so that's what our goal is at this particular point in time, from a give back community perspective.
So your first property was your own personal home.
Yes.
Tell me about your second property.
All right. Well, we purchased another property in Memphis, Tennessee, and so it's a single-family property, and it's been going well. We're thinking about adding a couple more to those yet, but we'll see how that goes. But we decided, like I said, the active property business was not something we wanted to do after working in corporate America for so long. It's like, I don't want to be that active. I really prefer the passive real estate role.
So you bought a second property and rented it out.
Yes.
And who taught you to do that?
Well, we initially we learned from the Fortune Builders group. we went to that couple of seminars and learned the principles of real estate investing through them. And we decided, so they had the active route and the passive route. So we decided to take the passive route to real estate investing as opposed to the active route.
Now, you're very focused, so when you went on the course, did you think, okay, we would like to earn $10,000 or $100,000 or $15,000 a month, this is the number of properties we need?
Well, we looked at it more from how many properties do we want to buy, as opposed to a particular dollar amount. So we initially wanted to start out with 5 properties. And when, after Michael retired, we, a little sooner than we had planned, we decided to restructure our thinking and focus on the book and the educational part of it. So after that, we were fortunate enough to meet Mr. Steve Down, who is the head of our private equity group. So Michael and I didn't start the group, but we found the group, and the group we decided it was something we wanted to do, and this was what we were looking for. Is you know how you have that intuition in your head, it's like there's something missing, there's something more, and this is what it was. It was investing in a company or an organization that had the same values and direction that we wanted to go in. So we invested with the Fall Center group, and that's what we decided to do. Instead of buying more passive income property, we decided to do the commercial development, the commercial real estate, because we're actually building the event centers, and we're building the small craft restaurants called Even Stevens, where we're giving sandwiches back for every sandwich that's being purchased. We're giving a sandwich in return. So we've given over 800,000 sandwiches away in the past 2 years. So that's where we're concentrating our efforts on.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. The private equity group, they found you?
Well, we found each other. I attended a seminar, and I was looking for some information on real estate investing, and I happened to see this particular session about creating wealth. So I sat in on the session, and it was about this private equity opportunity, and it was exactly what we were looking for. And so we got together. We met with the founders of the group, and Mike and I decided this was something we wanted to do.
I'd like to end this chat that we're having with, because I think there's a lot of property investors out there who, they start off buying their buy-to-lets and so on, as you did, mm-hmm. But they'd like to somehow do something bigger. What can they do to find a private equity group that they can join?
Well, I'm not quite sure, because since they are private in nature, they don't advertise. Yeah. So the best thing is to, put yourself in situations or go to different organizations, conferences, and just kind of meet people and talk to people. It's kind of who you know that knows someone that's doing what you want to do. And it's the connections and the relationships that you build that will lead you in that direction.
And what is the minimum that they're likely to need to join one of these groups?
Well, I can't speak to any other group, but the minimum investment for our equity group is $100,000 to be qualified.
Yeah. Okay, so Robbie, this has been a really, really great interview. Thank you so much for all that great information you've shared with our viewers.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate you taking the time.
Of 10 million or 10% of 2,000.
I think I'll take the 6%.
There you go. So
that's a much better decision.
Are we ready? Ready to rock?